have to resort to that. And even if they want to give it that legitimacy, how to go about getting that licensing is another big issue for those that might be seeking alternative means of income. Well, here on People's 93.1 FM, very soon we'll be opening the phone lines for you to call in and ask questions. But for now, there are one or two things that we need to ask. But you can send in your text message. You can send in your text messages to 0906 000 2420 or 0909 173 2428. Text messages only for now. 0906 000 2420 or 0909 173 2428. Now, what's the effect of oil bunkering and artisanal refining in those states where you conducted your research? What has been the effect so far?
It's really been a terrible effect, especially on agriculture and source to. In fact, it affected everything concerning livelihood, because there was not a single person who didn't have an experience of how the cost of petroleum products or the cost of kerosene, for instance, didn't affect. It had to do with their source for, economical growth, and they didn't get. So basically, we conducted the research in Bayelsa and in Rivers State. And in both states, not the entire Rivers, it was, we went to Ogoni land specifically, and then
oil producing
yes
communities.
Especially because this project started because of the Ogoni project in the first place.
And particularly, we, like you said, we didn't go to every local government. We looked at, the research was focused because we are looking at the impact of oil spill on livelihood. So we went to local government and communities where oil activities are taking place, are going on, so that we could pin the issues, nip the issues to the bud and not walk by assumptions.
Okay, so at this point, I'd like to know, were you able to find out why people vandalize pipelines?
Okay, people vandalize pipeline for different reasons.
Okay.
Funny enough, you would be surprised that people vandalize pipeline as a way of getting back
At the government. Because they feel that they are being deprived of the gold that comes out of the earth.
Yeah, that's a painful one, because even
and the oil companies as well.
Yes,
just to get back.
You get back at the oil companies. Even if they think that yes, they are hurting the government, the hurt on the people is much more severe, because the government is not seated in that community, the oil companies are not seated in that community, but the people that live there suffer the effects. They also do that, particularly according to them, that because there are no jobs, they need to survive. They need to survive. So that is for them an alternative means of livelihood to what they have in their immediate environment.
So at this point, I'd like to know, do you think that it's even appropriate to do things like that? Because at the end of the day, you just realize that you're shooting yourself in the foot, because whatsoever you're doing is coming back to you, and the environment and other communities will still be affected by that oil spillage. Your water will still be affected. You cannot drink, you cannot farm, you cannot use that water for anything. Your farmlands are being destroyed. So what kind of mentality possesses people to do these things?
It took a very long time for people to realize that vandalism does, have effect on all of the things that you mentioned. The first thing that came to their mind was to make petroleum products accessible to their mothers in the village. We wanted these products and they are quite expensive. Apart from that, we can make a lot of money selling it. The environment and the effect of their actions was the least thing that occurred to them. It took a long time when people started talking about what's it called, when you're traveling you have to cover your nose, and the black I can't remember the name. So it took a long time. The effects had begun to tell on the people before they realized, okay, it looks like this is part of it. Apart from that, it also took a long time for women to say, look, our crops are not yielding as much as it used to. We can't even grow pepper. We can't grow mama cocoa. It was something that we could do at our backyard. So it took a long time. It wasn't something that just came immediately.
And by the time you just realize it, you see your
was
fertile
almost
lines
too
already barren.
It was almost too late.
Yes, and the concept that we try to picture, was the fact that, look, you can get a little from this and lose so much. It's like penny wise, pound foolish.
Yeah.
You gain a little and you lose so much because you are losing your future to the pollution. Or you get a few person get so much money from the business, and the whole community suffer from the effect
Exactly.
of it.
Exactly.
Apart from that, they also had health challenges that didn't come up as at when they started.
Suddenly.
Yes, it was
It just took time.
It took time
like
before
gradual poisoning.
they
before you start
realized
seeing the
I
effects.
can't breathe as nicely as I used to.
Yes.
Now it's and then some of them were burns. We saw
Yes,
quite
some
a
even died.
lot. A lot of people died. A lot of people started reacting.
Their skin and everything.
Yeah,
is
so
affect.
it took a long time. Apart from that, even when they started seeing it, it took our own